Good afternoon, Westminster family. My name is Daniel Penton, and I stand here today honored to speak on behalf of the athletics department here at Westminster, but more importantly, on behalf of the class of 2020, my family. I'll start by saying this: I wouldn't change a single bit of it for the world. Each moment in the classroom, in chapel, on the field, on stage, and even in Jasper, Georgia during Warrior Week, Westminster has shaped me into the man I am today. I truly can't thank my parents enough for the sacrifices they have made allowing me to be a part of this incredible place. I love you guys. And I'm so thankful for all the teachers, coaches, and classmates who have been a part of this journey with me and who have made it as special as it has been. So here's to us, the class of 2020. We are special, and there's no doubt about it. Go down the list, you name it, we've faced it. But most importantly, we've overcome. Here's to the class that couldn't be kept down. The class that made the best of our circumstances. The class that enjoyed every second, and the class that spread love. Today, we gather here to celebrate, not to look back and to be sad, but to look back and to appreciate the portions of our lives that consisted of our time at Westminster. So here's to 4 Warrior Weeks and 4 Homecoming Weeks. Here's to our chapels and to amazing teachers who we created bonds with and who have become more than teachers, but mentors in life and friends. To our successes and the failures that made us better. Here's to 7 classes every day, whether we were focused or whether we might have dozed off in a little. Here's to asking to go to the bathroom, but instead finding ourselves waking up to the sound of the bell on Mr. C's couch next period. Here's to Chicken Patty Day, which never failed to turn a tough day around. To Reed's Room, and finding something new on the walls every time we sit in one of those swivelly chairs during Christian living, or again, in the bathroom. Here's to Norty spitting bars on his latest rap and listening to all of Mr. Meyer's childhood stories from back in the Key West days. To Domino's in Comer's room after lunch and going to Miss Suarez's room to apply to college, but finding Goodwin and Nelson on those 2 brown chairs ahead her desk and leaving without a single application done. Here's to friends and the relationships we've made along the way. To those who have been by our side from day one, to those who came along halfway, and especially to those we lost. Brianna, Patrick, and Lucas may be gone now, but they will never, ever leave our sides, all the way up until the day we see them again. Here's to them and all the people and things that make Westminster the greatest place on earth. With that being said, Westminster doesn't end in the classroom, so here's to sports. There is truly nothing like sports. There is nothing like you and your teammates putting your heart and soul into something bigger than yourself. Sports are truly magical. During my time here, I've been blessed with the opportunity to play 3 different sports. And in all 3, I learned countless life lessons that I am confident will help me navigate life in the years to come. In wrestling, I learned to depend on myself and figure out how to overcome challenges all on my own. In football, I learned to never, ever give up. And I learned what it truly means to go out on the field and fight all the way until the clocks hit zeros, not for myself, but for the brothers alongside me. And finally, in lacrosse, I'd rather share the lessons I learned with a story. The day is February 13th, 2020, and after weeks and weeks of off-season training, we, the lacrosse team, are finally ready to take the field upstate in Immokalee for our preseason opener game. There was something in the air that night. I could never put my finger on just what it was, but the Warriors were electric right off the bus. We hopped into warm-ups on fire, nobody missing a beat. We were having fun, doing what we loved. The game began and it was a battle. We scored a goal, they scored a goal, and this sequence continued until they finally pulled ahead by 2 goals. And the score was 5-3 with a little over a minute left until halftime. Then something magical happened. We scored a beautiful goal, celebrated a little bit, and hopped right back into position for the next face-off. Right off the face, we picked up the ball, ran down to the goal, and scored again in just seconds. Now we're hyped up, as we're tied with only seconds remaining until the half. But we weren't done yet. Whistle blew on the next face-off, and we repeated what we did just seconds prior, as we took the ball right back to the goal and scored just as the clocks hit zeros. We scored 3 goals in about a minute, something I never seen us do, and quite frankly, I never thought we'd get around to. But like I said, there was magic in the air that night. Although it was only halftime, we were only up by 1, I knew right then and there that we had this game in the bag. And I was right. The defense didn't allow any more goals for the rest of the game, and the offense scored 4 more. We won the game 10-5. That game is still to this day the best lacrosse I've ever seen us play, from any team I've been on all the way from my freshman year to my senior. And I believe that it was because God knew that it was one of our brother's last times playing the sport he loved with the guys he loved even more. That was Lucas Alvarez's final game in a Warrior uniform, and my last game with my best friend. Although Lucas was physically not with us for the remainder of the season, spiritually, he continued right by our sides with that beautiful 6 right across his jersey, even though we couldn't see it. And in glorious Lucas fashion, he dropped some hints to remind us along the way. Gia Tabe, wearing number 6 in her first game after Lucas's passing, and the first game in Westminster women's lacrosse history, scored the first goal the program had ever seen. Shortly after, in his first game back, Lucas Costello, for his 6th at-bat of the season, hitting number 6 in the lineup, smashed an absolute rocket out of the park for a Warriors home run. And finally, in our 6th and final lacrosse game of the season, which we didn't know was going to be our last due to COVID, Andres Campos, getting tossed in at the goalie position, claimed his 6th and final goal of the season, making it his last ever. To sum it all up, what I learned most from lacrosse, and what I know to be the most important principle that any Westminster team has to offer, is family. The second you come through those gates on your first day of freshman year, and every second after that, you are a part of the Westminster Christian family. A family that I thank God every day for allowing me to be a part of. Thank you all, and go Warriors.